had earlier reported that the news hit everyone by surprise, but that is how it is. The 56-year-old actress was adopted by the late Chief E.A. Silva, a reputable lawyer, the then Babajiro of Lagos, and his wife late Dr. Abimbola Silva, a pioneering female doctor who died in July 2015. In a recent interview with Love Haven magazine, the actress revealed how her husband, also a veteran actor, Olu Jacobs, got to know about her adoption story before they got married. It is expected to be a difficult task telling the man she loves about her adoption story. On how her husband, then fiancé, got to know about her story, she said, "Several years later, I brought home the one I wanted to marry, and my mum asked my husband if he knew I was adopted, and he answered in affirmation that I had already told him." Many years later, there was another memory of a very nasty member of our family. My mummy, always very supportive of her relatives, sat on our balcony and said my auntie would never be supportive of her because in the Yoruba language, "Wano kuku bimo," she never supported her because she didn't have a child of her own. When I heard about it, I did what Pastor Rapu called the unchristian thing. May God forgive me. I dealt with her. Till today, she never believed what I did that day to her, but I dealt with her by being so cold towards her. She would never forget it. Read also, after her marriage, they had children together, and the need to tell the children of her adoption before they get to hear the story distorted outside. She said, "I then realized that I needed to tell my children about my adoption. I don't want anybody to tell them in a way it wouldn't be supportive. I called my children and I told them the ABC of my adoption story. They now told me that Grandma had already told them. It was then I learned that somebody in my son's school had told him about his mom being adopted. He told Grandma, and Grandma told him everything. Little wonder, my mom and Soji, my son, were very close. Till she died, my mum, my son remained inseparable." The actress also shared the agony they went through when they lost their first child, Deo, at the age of 10, and how her mother was a fulcrum of support to her and her husband. She said, "I have memories of my firstborn, Deo, who died at the age of 10.5 years. She was in coma and my husband would not allow them removed her from life support until my mom came. He needed my mom's approval then because Grandma was so close to Deo, they were inseparable. She gave the go-ahead for her to be removed by saying she was better up there than making her suffer on life support. My mum was the one that saw us through because my dad already had a stroke and couldn't be of help at all then. I remember when my mother saw the health of my husband, who was deteriorating over the death of our daughter. She gave my husband a check of a hefty sum to go and complete the house we were building then. But because of how arrogant our husbands could be on matters like that, he rejected the offer of his mother-in-law, and quickly gathered himself together to go and complete the house. Me and my children used to drink Gary 3 times daily. Olu Jacobs, the bread seller on Source.